Hello, Ori friends! Today we have more than just your average friendly race for you. A tale as old as the universe itself. Frenchies versus Germans, long bread versus a beverage. In fact, twice the baguette versus twice the beer, battling it out for a cause that might decide the fate of not just Europe but the entire world. That's right, today we're gonna decide whether just 3 sign shots to break an energy crystal before jumping around the corner are swag or just a giant fail. My name is Sam, and for this duel of the fates, I brought none other than Covert Muffin to commentate what's about to happen. Muffin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, this is taking Starch to a whole new dimension, like even past my furthest dreams that I could ever imagine. Of course, so Twice the Beer is not the name of an actual team in this tournament. That is going to be the Bizarre Adventurers, featuring off Sirius and Liftoff, and then Twice the Baguette, who are also going to be featuring some amazing speedrunners, none other than Lusther and GreeZ. I'm really excited for this one. I think we have a lot of really veteran top end runners in this match, and so like especially in a double setting, we're absolutely going to see some amazing stuff. I mean, Sirius's first match, just like by themselves, their execution was absolutely top notch. But we'll be getting this race started in just about a minute, and then we will be getting underway. But what are you hoping to see, like right at the start of the seed, Zem?
Alright, memes aside, why not do like a wall jump dash stomp double jump start and actually have our players go through Blackroot and climb up into Grotto from there? Let's not give them any energy at all and see what they will do with that.
Yeah, there was one qual race in round one of Swiss where they were incredibly energy starved for the entire thing, and it brought like some really interesting stuff, like Progression Vault, which is a 4 energy door in Spider Sack area, had Glide, and Glide was like a massive point of that entire race. Like if somebody had found that early, it would have made a huge difference potentially in the outcome of the race. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we see here for Randomizer itself. But there we go. There's going to be the race screen. On the left is going to be Twice the Beer with Sirius in the bottom left, Liftoff in the top left. And then over on the right side is going to be none other than Twice the Baguette with Lusther in the top right, GreeZ in the bottom right, with their respective trackers for their skills, trees, as well as shards and relics going to be overlapping with the game screens itself. Good luck. Have fun with the randomizer, my friends.
And let us have fun with this rando too, indeed. Alright, everyone loading in, and maybe, just maybe, we can see what kind of start we're getting right here at the first pickup. I'm hoping for something, however the seed is just saying 1 keystone, maybe a second following very soon. So we are just gonna be having some good old bunny hopping on our way to sign here.
Yeah, Keystone is like the most common first pickup. Like opening Glades as a bit of forced progression is definitely weighted, I'm guessing, a little bit higher. I don't know because I haven't seen the code, but like that definitely seems to be the case in most of the seeds that I've played. But here we go for the second check. It is going to be Glide, and that is going to vastly increase the probability that we actually do find Wind Restored super early. So we could see that next bit of forced progression just to be on that Frankie Walk. So I'm thinking like Wind Restored. I'm going to be thinking about like things like Swamp Teleporter, as well as Valley Teleporter with some starved stuff. But then also that one Grotto check can also be really deceptive in the lower left portions of the Grotto. You can see the Grotto Teleporter. So we'll see what the pickups 3 and 4 have for our runners.
Yeah, you seem to be thinking about a lot of good stuff. All I'm thinking is wall jump charge flame. We have not only once seen people get ridiculously trolled by the good dash plan pickup in Blackroot Burrows. However, with doubles format, that's a different story. And as you've predicted, there's our wind restored. So one interesting point here would be, is this going to be our second keystone immediately? No. So
Wow.
yes, we're actually having all 4 of our runners have that to do that backtrack.
Yeah, Sirius with a nice underwater pickup as well, getting the experience. GreeZ is also going to get that info. We're going to see if they go back for it. They are not. So that's actually going to be a nice little advantage for Twice the Beer on the left, because Sirius now is going to not have to really dig as much for EXP. But in the top right, we do see wall jump. All four runners are going to have to go into Blackroot Burrows. This is actually pretty big because this is an incredibly linear start that we rarely ever see.
Yeah, indeed. And the only sad thing here is that something that would. Oh, actually, look on the top left. Sirius
Ooh.
setting up an energy glitch for later. I really, really like this. If you have doubles and all of you are going into Blackroot, gets it here. Very nice. You wanna try, like, when can you actually split up, right? If we are going into the next areas here. And now Sirius only needs two extra energy cells to go into Death Gauntlet from here.
Yeah, indeed. So nice heads up play from them. Like definitely taking advantage that the first person to make it into Blackroot Bros can spend that information, right? So you you want to try and sort of like split up the pickups that you're going to be checking, and some of the longer ones that take a lot of time to be able to get access to those pickups. Like if you can have your teammate be able to skip that pickup, then that is like time overall that's going to be saved, because the end time for the racers is going to be the average between the two racers on the same team, which decides who is going to be walking away with the W today. So you don't need to both finish first and second place out of the four players. You can finish first and fourth and still end up potentially taking a win for your team. But yeah, not really too much that's going to be showing their face. But we do see Lusther heading back in towards the Glades to Keydor with that second keystone. So they are going to be making access to Glades.
Yeah, Wall Glide is reasonable enough to split up in the stage, I would say, with one of the teammates being able to do this very slow early game Blackroot portion on Wall Jump and basically nothing more, while the other can do some checking around in Glades, absolutely getting Charge Flame and nothing else, I swear.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure, for sure.
yeah, it's a health cell that's like Charge Flame, so I guess we're just having a very standard early game for now.
Yeah, I mean, the health cell is a nice tell, and that's actually going to be a bit of a potential buff for Sirius, because having a health cell show up this early, that increases the probability that Death Gauntlet's going to come in as the form of right side progression. So if we even see like one energy cell show up, like I'm already thinking about Death Gauntlet and like early grotto plays. But so far, just like experience, not really much else for our runners that they are going to be tracking down thus far. But pretty soon we're going to see how the seed is going to shape out. But for the meantime, we see liftoff in the top left, GreeZ in the bottom right, going to be the ones traversing through Blackroot Burrows, 165 experience on that dash gated pickup. And then in the top right, Lusther and bottom left, Sirius are going to be the ones making their way through Glades Loop. So not really much showing up quite yet, Zem, but we are probably on the precipice for the next bit of progression.
Well, that's not progression, but we do have an early Blackroot relic here on the ability cell in the main room that can solve a lot of fears here, with
Yeah.
Lost Growth relics in particular being absolutely atrocious and horrible if you need like 20 health or clean water and grenade to pick those up. So very nice to find that here. But oh, look, another relic back to back here on the wall jump tree. That also means we're kinda down to our last two pickups. Sirius picking
Oh.
up a very nice amount of experience there. So eyes on the top left and bottom right. Let's see where we're going.
Yeah, really interesting thing as well is that there were a lot of keystones in Blackroot Zem, and so like we do need the relic, so people have to potentially. Well, they don't have to, but they potentially want to restore the light in Blackroot. Actually, it'd be an interesting play if we see one of the runners
Beautiful
not.
skip there on the top left. Sorry,
Yeah,
nothing, but just no ability set spent, conserving those resources. That's really nice.
yeah, that was a trick I recently started doing with just wall jump, and so it's awesome to see a lot of other runners end up picking that up. It's very impressive to see, especially with that. But wow, there it is. There's the next bit of big information. Charge jump is gated by a power skill, Zem.
Well, Charge Jump being the most likely one right now with the 150 dash EXP, that's a lot of information our runners can use to do whatever inferences they want to do about logic in the seed here. We know dash is like at the earliest a late mid-game thing with 153 XP on a dash lock, and charge jump is locked behind dash, or bash nade can get up there in standard 2, I think. So that's information we really like to have. Probably gonna have both Lusther and Sirius pick up that very soon too, and this also is just nice for clearing on the way here to Spirit Caverns. We're not gonna leave
Wow.
anything behind. Oh my god, and look at that! That bash was not illogic with wall jump and glide. So, this is shaping up to be a very skill heavy start. Maybe we're gonna see some jet very soon here.
Yeah, I'm immediately thinking, where's blue breakage, right? Where is dash? So one, I that bash pickup could be gated by double jump. Double jump could be the verticality that is forcing that progression in order to be able to get bash, and then grenade might end up showing its face early, and then bash grenade could potentially give us that charge jump pickup. But also, dash just by itself gets us charge jump, and that brings bash into logic. So I'm immediately thinking, where's double jump, where's blue breakage, or where's dash? And that's what our runners are going to be trying to look for on the right side of the map. Because we know dash, as Zem was saying, is gated by 150 experience. So most likely that is going to be a mid and logic pickup. So my best guess for the seed, if I were like forced to try and say what progression is going to look like, it's going to be blue breakage leading probably from grenade, and then that gets us dash, and then that gets us the charge jump pickup, or it could just be double jump gets us bash, and then bash grenade gets us charge jump. So it's one of those two situations. But I mean, charge flame tree is just looking like such a great area to go to immediately right now, Zem.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still on team double jump here. Like, gotta
Sure.
say, absolutely team double jump, because this just feels like this classic standard progression where it's trying to not give you. Oh, that's a bit of a death for liftoff here on the top left, but we do have charge jump, so nothing as forgiving as a charge jump death in Spirit Caverns, I would say. Just a few minor amount of seconds lost here, but you know, it's still pretty linear. Sure, if someone
It is,
wants
yeah.
to, they can take that bash, go into Blackroot with it, and sequence break into Grotto. But there aren't that many pickups left that we can even access, so just going here up to the Grove area and then checking Sea Flame tree area is definitely the right call in my mind.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be blue breakage, honestly, or a right side teleporter for the right side progression. So it's going to be interesting to see how our runners are going to navigate through. But I really like that point that you made, Sam, that this is a very linear seed. So yeah, we're talking a lot about like different sort of big brain plays, like logic wise, in the seed itself, but it really comes down to what is going to be right side access. So Lusther doing a really cool play here on the top right. I think they have to actually backload here with the Frankie stuck behind the right side of the peg. Is going to be trying to utilize bash in order to be able to use that Frankie to stop the peg to get immediate access into Moon Grotto. So yeah, there it is. Swamp Teleporter in the top left is going to be right side progression. So Lusther with a big play here if they are able to get that Frankie to cooperate. Looks like they're abandoning it. So Lusther is going to be just following in their teammates' footsteps. I think that's like honestly pretty massive. But for liftoff on in the top left as well as Sirius in the bottom left, we are going to see a Goomon Seal Shard also show up. But yeah, like right side is open here. We could actually end up seeing a play down into Grotto. Grove proper is open. We have Spider Pillar area. We have so much now to be able to split up for our runners. So it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate this. And this really could decide how the seed progresses, especially going into the late game. But there it is, a nice swamp relic. Really nice locations for the first three relics so far.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one of those that can be incredibly scary with the long swims that are in swamp, especially when you don't have all that clean water and so on yet. But no, it's just right there, right next to the teleporter. So guess it's 3 out of 3 nice relics so far, and this is where we can really split off. I mean, if we have the shards, we could go to Horu right now, and we could actually do basically everything in there.
Yeah.
That's just how open the seat is.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this like through and through, right? This is the second week, the second round of Swiss that we've seen so far for our 14 teams competing in this tournament, right? And we've seen like how terrible these early bash seeds have been for a lot of the teams that have had to like play through these. But like we have a really comfy skill set. We have charge jump, we have wall interaction, we have glide for air retention, and we have bash to be able to move around the map, right? So like the one thing that we're truly missing at this point is just like blue breakage. If we get blue breakage, then and or stomp, that is really going to massively open up the seed, right? The moment that stomp comes into play in particular, that is just going to open up the left side of the map incredibly. So I am imagining that the shards are just going to be in terrible locations, Sam, for this team.
Yeah, it's being a bit too nice, isn't it? We are also
Yeah.
getting our fifth health cell just on the way there on the grotto TP, so that means we also have enough resources later on. Still thinking about if that storm comes into play that you have mentioned, then we have enough health here. Looking at Sirius, we actually already know about 6 health cells, so that's enough
Wow.
no matter what. We're also having a very reasonable amount of energy here. Oh, and look, there it is!
There it
Grenade
is.
in the glide vault, giving us blue breakage, giving us bash nade, giving us charge jump uh, by that matter in logic, kinda filling out the entire thing. No, wait, it was the other way, wasn't it? Bash was giving you charge
Yes.
jump here. We're still missing a link. We're still getting another skill.
Yeah, it could be double jump or it could be dash at this point. So I am absolutely fixated on that at this point. Like if I was a runner, I'd be like, okay, we need to find dash, we need to and or we need to find double jump. So if either of our like team
Right.
tracking that down, we'll see like a beeline for that pickup. In the top right, we see a nice sequence break there, nice block fall from Lusther to be able to get access to these pickups. Just some more resources, so nothing too terribly important. But we do see a nice split for TwiceTheBaguette as GreeZ is going to be moving into Spider Pillar's area. They haven't gotten that grenade pickup yet, so they are going to have to skip some pickups here, especially if they continue heading over to the left into this grove area exploration. But they could actually end up tracking down maybe something important along the way.
Yeah, I mean, there's this particular path here to get the energy cell with just glide and like wall jump, which has brought North of Runners just 89 XP this time. Just mentioning there is no relic in Grove, so we're not gonna find any of those while we're in here. But on the other hand, as you mentioned before too, there's this nice energy door here, and GreeZ technically has the setup for it with his 3 energy if he does an energy glitch and some magneting here.
All right, so at this point as well, it's looking like bottom right of Gumon Hideout is potentially going to have that next bit of progression for our runners, or it's going to be Upper Swamp Loop, because those are really the two areas that have not quite been explored. So top left of the screen, Liftoff is going to be the first to be able to check these pickups, but Lusther also might be making a play for Upper Swamp Loop. We'll have to see where they actually end up going from here. But yeah, I'm just looking at the top left right now to try and find out where that next skill is them. And is it going to be double jump or is it going to be dash?
I want to see dash, but I think we're going
Yeah.
to see double jump. But see, it can't be this nice, right? It's kind of funny though how like a double jump would actually make a perfectly logical chain of progression here, but so would dash. They both lead to each other at this point, so we
Yeah.
can't go by more than, well, I guess double jump is more likely to be placed by the algorithm early, but we also, kinda don't have that many pickups left to check here. We've reached the tree on the top left with liftoff, and it's been absolutely nothing except for some EXP. Finding a Sunstone shard here on the top right for TwiceTheBaguette in Death Gauntlet, always good to have those shards. One more shard that's not in a terrible location, in fact. Um, but we really just have to wait at this point where our one extra thing is going to be. Water Rain shard in Valley entry that makes 1-1-1 on shards. Well, let's say 1-2-1 because the broken Forlorn teleporter has also been in Valley entry. So we're even getting dungeon keys pretty quickly at this point.
Yeah, pretty fascinating play in the bottom right that GreeZ is actually checking Horu Fields. I actually like this a lot, Zem, because really we pretty much do have in logic Horu Fields at this point. They're not normally nice pickups to check, but like they are pickups that could be in logic and be important. Lusther, meanwhile, in the top right, ends up tracking down that Grotto relic, which was in lower swamp entry path in particular. And yeah, I'm definitely looking at the top right at this point, Sam. Like, I feel like if anywhere, this is probably going to be where we actually end up finding our next skill. And
Actually,
you know,
I think
could
it
still.
might not be, my friend,
No.
because Lusther has like one tiny problem, which is we entered Grotto through the bottom path in Blackroot, and then we teleported to the teleporter. Right in between those two, there are very few pickups that you kinda don't wanna go to right now, but that's where our blue breakage is.
Yeah, truly, truly. So we're gonna see what ends up happening. Also in the top left, really cool play. We've seen this in Quals 1 that actually decides the team that actually ends up taking a W in the matchups. Like the first team to go to the left. So liftoff sequence breaking to the left by utilizing the Frankie by bashing it on the peg. Gonna drop down a safety save in order to be able to progress and check that underwater pickup. It's nothing, it's just some experience, so they're gonna take an intentional death and then set up to make their way towards that left side access. Oh, but Sirius is actually going to be the first one on the left. So really, really fascinating stuff. I know I talked to Sirius about this after their match, which was really fascinating. Man, once again, just a really nice place for the relic. We're not having to dig for relics at all so far in this seed. They have just been in really incredibly nice locations. And so this could actually be massive, right? The first team to be able to get to new areas, irregardless of what that actual left side progression is for the seed itself. And instead, they are just making way to be able to track down the thing they need to be able to start and finish the final
No.
escape.
Oh, Sirius getting a phasing frog shot after a really nice double dash chain. I guess we're taking the frog for a walk instead. But yeah, as you've said, getting new areas with relics like this, we need the dungeon keys and we need the relics. That's all we need really. We can hellstomp for the final escape walls and take some damage boosts there. So you know, we're kinda in a go for relics, go for shards mode here, and I really like that we're going to have a double jump on the top right for Lusther. Well, there it is.
Okay, so now the question is, where's Stomp? It's like, it's so funny because we keep getting these little sequential like logic things. So double jump does indeed bring like bash as well as charge jump into logic, but double jump was gone out of logic. So where is Stomp at this point? We don't know. It could be climb and charge jump as well as to be able to get that pickup, but that is just so incredibly unlikely at this point. And as we find Charge Flame in Misty Woods in the bottom left, Sirius being able to track that down. And so, once again, I cannot stress enough, Zem, how much I like this early left play from TwiceTheBeard. This is absolutely phenomenal. I love this routing.
Yeah, same. I'm always a big fan of like once you have skills, just push to wherever you wanna go. Oh, look at
Yeah.
that! We already saw this relic earlier, but tries to be now also knowing it. 5 out of 8 relics already. 20 minutes in, and almost all the shards we're going to need too. We already know about 5 entire shard locations, and well, of course, we have the entire set of oh look at that it's 6 shards actually. We have 4 on access. There's just another shard on the way to a tree.
Yeah, so as a quick update for folks who are viewing, there are three areas that actually do not have relics. Those are Grove, Forlorn, and Sorrow. So, in all honesty, the area that I would expect runners to go to would probably be Sorrow because it's just so pickup dense and really fast to check with Glide when restored in particular. But Sirius just continuing in Misty simply because they haven't really found the relic yet. So, definitely in this latter portion of Misty as well, this can be pretty tricky to traverse. But Bash, Grenade, and Glide is actually a really comfy skill set after you've done it like a number of times, especially with that charge jump to be able to just if they end up like failing at Bash, Grenade, Chain, they can just end up just taking intentional damage boosts, as we saw from Sirius. So nice play from them. We're going to see how deep into Misty they have to end up going, but they have all the resources they need, and they have plenty of keystones just in case it is on that Gumon Seal pickup.
Yeah, in the meantime, Lusther found Grenade for Team TwiceTheBaguette, so they will have access to all of this good bashinating too. They even get a nice little extension since they actually do have double jump access here, which TwiceTheBeer has not had yet and is also in an area that doesn't have a relic anymore. So it's a bit less likely that they're actually going to go there during the remainder of the race. In the meantime, Sirius, well, I guess we have to at least do one giant digging session here. We are up to the last two pickups of Misty, so we get to see basically the entire thing here, which, I mean, at least you're not gonna get rendered by any pickups on the way, right? It's not like you're losing time over your opponent by doing so. So yeah, we're seeing a finished up Misty Clear here for Sirius, while Lifdoff is using the time to collect some shards that we already know the location of from earlier, and then we'll see. I like Muffin, we're still missing that logic, that
Yeah,
logical
where's Stomp?
progression missing link. Is
Where's
it Dash
Stomp?
Plant?
Oh yeah, it could be Dash Plant. Yeah, Dash Plant with yeah. Actually, I think it's probably there. Wall jump, glide, grenade. Yeah. I think Stomp could potentially be on Dash Plant. I was just like trying to think as to like where the heck Stomp could actually be, and I think that might be the most likely culprit. So we'll find out if they continue through. There's also like grenade block pickups in Upper Swamp Loop.
Yeah, in the bottom right here, GreeZ with grenade. Now, no one has done the
Yeah,
grenade checks here. It's a water main shard, so nice that we have that too. Still need those shards. And then there's the extra plant above the storm pickup. Yeah, GreeZ also hasn't gotten double jump yet, so GreeZ checking here actually lets him get the skill on the way to also getting more team checks. So really loving it to send GreeZ here instead of Lusther for the revisit. So that's gonna be the double jump, showing off for showing off on top of that. Has charge jump, but who needs that?
yeah. So Greece thinking
GreeZ.
about where they want to go next. Oh man, yeah, I wish Greece would just go over and check the grenade locked pickup, but they are not. They are instead going to teleport out and continue this search and elsewhere. And really, the story of this matchup so far is like TwiceTheBaguette with that double jump find is pretty nice, but then also they are being incredibly thorough on the right side of the map, whereas TwiceTheBeer is pushing the left side like really deep. And so we even see Liftoff like going immediately into Misty because they know that the relic is going to be at the end. It's going to be on that Gumon Seal event pickup. So they are just going to continue to push all the way through Misty in order to grab that, in order to have that relic advantage, right? Because if we do hit a bottleneck portion of the seed where it's like, oh no, we can't like end up tracking down the relic, they will have
Look,
that.
there's
Oh,
storm.
there
It's
it is.
just, it's just on the, just in the grove area. So that can still come into play because well I actually forgot. Do we have a horror relic? We do have a horror relic, right?
Yeah, we
So Stomp is kinda an important pickup in some of the races, and for once, this is yet again in an area that I wouldn't expect Sirius or Liftoff to go anytime soon, because as you said, Sorrow is just so much juicier at the moment. So Yeah, we'll
It
see.
is. Yeah, and like really interesting stuff as well is like we have teleporters for specific dungeons, right? We have the Horu teleporter, right? So there's no real reason for Team Twice the Beard to be able to go back to the right side of the map in order to like dig up a potential skill that they could end up finding for that logical progression. Like, yeah, I would still have like dash and double jump in my mind if I was Team Twice the Beard. But at this point, like they're pushing so hard for objectives. And with this play into Horu, Sirius does track down another water vein shard. So that is a completed water vein if our teams want it. We of course know where the other water vein shards are, but we also know that Twice the Beard did not have the means to be able to track down that third water vein shard we've seen, which I think was Upper Swamp Loop. I think it was the plan.
Yeah, there was. I think you're right on that one. I think it was one more blue breakage locked shard there, so that's three total shards found between the teams. But as they, well, they would be allowed to share information, I guess. But who would do that with their opponent, right? So for
Cool
now,
sequence
just
break
seeing.
in the bottom left here. Yeah, nice zombie Oris from Sirius to be able to just get a faster overall pickup here in R4, like completely skipping the puzzle entirely. Really like that play from Sirius.
Also, especially taking the rock out early here in 4.0 with the rune changes means we do not need to bash this rock at all because the lava finally vanishes like it was meant to be. So that just makes the room even faster. Getting extra double jump here. Gosh, I know a team who could use that. Sadly taking a bit of a death here to the spikes on the bottom of R4 here. That is a bit of a tight jump. I probably want to actually place a save for it, or we just do a nice double bash chain on the elemental after shooting, baiting out a shot here. So that's R4 done. It's not here. 4 non-stomp pickups gone.
Yeah, so far, so nothing for our runners currently who are digging through. We do see the left side play from Lusther. They're going to be making it over, and they're going to be the first one for their team to be able to make their way into Misty Woods. So they will see the news as well that the relic is just incredibly buried. And Liftoff, meanwhile, in the top left, is going to be finishing their sojourn into Misty Woods, grabbing the orb, going to have to return that in order to be able to grab their relic, which is once again on the Gumon seal pickup where you normally get Gumon Seal in the normal playthrough. Then, meanwhile, GreeZ in the bottom right is just continuing through Grotto in order to be able to check some stuff, and Sirius is continuing their journey through Horu, checking the pickups now in R3, which this portion in particular is really tricky. The easiest way that I know of is to do a grenade bash chain in order to get up.
Yeah, definitely. This, or you can do some fancy zombie shenanigans on the right side of the room, or
Right.
come back with full health from the teleporter and so on. But not having double jump actually kinda mattering here, which is interesting. And also nice for me as a watcher who obviously wants the race to be as close as possible.
Totally.
If we're not casting 4 final escapes at the same time.
Yeah, what are we even doing? So yeah, honestly, it's pretty hard to pick a team that's in the lead. Like TwiceTheBaguette, definitely with a skill advantage, with Stomp in particular, because there is a relic in Horu, right? So because Horu has a relic, in about 1 out of 3 seeds, you'll need Stomp in order to be able to finish out the seed itself, with that world tour being the goal mode with placing the relics around. So that stomp pickup in particular, as well as double jump, is very nice advantage for them. But meanwhile, we do know that Twice the Beer is in the lead in terms of the amount of relics and the amount of like map that they actually end up uncovering in sort of the late game areas, like the left side of the map. But Twice the Beer, I mean, finding some nice sunstone shards is like further making Horu look pretty nice. But we're gonna see where Sirius goes in the bottom left. I imagine that they are going to be traversing up to Sparrow in order to be continuing to progress and try and like find those last shards that they need.
I want to say we just had some nice color changes there as Sirius was going close to that last Sunstone shard, so I would assume we're gonna see a Sirius. Yeah, there's another color change there. We're gonna see a series of sense checks from Sirius himself here in the bottom left. There's a nice Valley teleporter after coming up from Valley. Love the useless sorry, the incredibly useful checks that pay off at just the right time, but now floating up and already turning color again. And there's a fourth Sunstone shard, so yeah, Haru looking good, if only for water rain shards, honestly. There are two left on the map that aren't in the swamp area, so we can see where that is taking us. Meanwhile, on the bottom right, GreeZ actually is sequence breaking into lower Blackroot burrows here. With some nice zombies and getting shacks in that are really out of the way. So if another water rain shard shows up down here, then that's gonna be incredibly interesting.
Yeah, I do like this play from Sirius because I mean, like early glide when restored, right? In the first four pickups, we had glide when restored, and then we know that like bash and stomp are like pretty early in logic, right? And so this just opens up the map like entirely. And so especially with glide when restored, like Sorrow just comes into logic, right? So there's so many pickups in Sorrow, it's so pickup dense that it honest and because it is like mid game logic. Sirius could actually end up tracking down Dash. We do know that they did find Climb in Sorrow, so that is grenade jumps, and that is really, really nice movement tech that I know Sirius is very comfortable with, like utilizing to save little bits of time, like all over the place.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and
like
we see that as he immediately starts pre-charging his G-jumps. Love to see that one. Um, Getting a nice horizontal one, and they are on the way back through the lasers. And now we had to sense it in the tree area, so Sirius immediately dropping up. And we also found our Horu relic in L4 above the lava, so not stomp locked either. I think our runners, oh nice one return, but there are more senses, and there's the third water range. Our runners are sensing blood, not even more pickups and so on after that. I would assume we're going to see a full on go mode immediately.
yeah, this seed is just so jet Zem. Like this is an incredibly, incredibly fast seed in general. It's just some of this stuff is just not in like really, really super nice and comfy locations. So we're gonna see how our runners like go through this. Sirius not doing that like L4 check is like pretty massive for the state of the race in general. And so TwiceTheBaguette is looking like pretty comfy here, but they do have some left side leeway for Twice the Beer as they were the first ones over there and they got a lot of really decent and really nice checks. So it'll be fascinating to see how the runners end up like tackling this, how they end up managing to work through the speed. But we're looking really good on like a very, very fast go mode.
Yeah, just to remind, it was Lifdoff who found the horror relic, so we are kind of just looking for the Ginso relic, and then we're done here on the side of Twice the Beer. So as long as it's not like in the escape and there's like a teleporter just on Twice the Baguette's way anytime soon, I think we have a clear lead here right now for Twice the Beer as they are in their final area.
Yeah, I would very much agree with that. Like even without the knowledge of the horror relic, the more time that GreeZ ends up spending in Blackroot Burrows is just not progress that they are sending for that left side relics as well as like completion of the overall run. Right, the relics are the thing that gate us from being able to start the final escape. Right, we have all the necessary skills to be able to get through it, and we have like plenty of resources, plenty of health, especially if we go up to ultra defense. But yeah, that's where my mind is right now. And so I think the scary thing for Twice the Beer right now is just like the lack of ultra defense because of going for sense and like low health, right? Liftoff, only with 5 health. I don't know if they have health regen or not. So that could be incredibly, incredibly scary if they do not end up tracking down Stomp or some other like health cells or ultra defense itself. So it does look like they are feeling very confident. They are heading into Horu immediately. So this is definitely looking like a win for Twice the Beer if they're able to make it through the final escape.
Yeah, definitely. But look at that. That's the ultra defense skills. So
Just
suddenly the
shy.
5
Just
HP is just fine. We don't have a problem anymore. Meanwhile, Sirius was doing some incredibly nice G jump chains through Horror, going back and forth before then finally going and picking up his relic. So liftoff already done with Dorwolf. Now starting the final escape and Sirius gonna be just behind.
all right, so we're going to see how Liftoff does. They were just shy by one ability cell for Ultra Defense, so we're going to see if they are able to get through with 5 HP. It is possible to do this on 4 HP with Stomp and Bash as a human being, but it's just incredibly, incredibly difficult. But no! Look at that, Zem! A health cell on the final escape. This is just absolutely destined for Liftoff to be able to complete through. And so this is absolutely looking for a win for TwiceTheBaguette. I cannot believe that there was a health cell right there. That is so incredibly good.
Yeah, what is it about this seat? This is like the nicest, most piece of jet I've seen during the entire tournament so far. We are 37 minutes in, and one team has both players at the same time in the final escape, and Liftoff getting through just fine. No incredibly rude rock here on the ascent. So all that's left is the left bash, which was just done, setting up for the final grenade jump and jumping right through that final rock into the finish.
GG. Incredible seeds, like back to back. Like round one, Sirius and Liftoff put an incredible showcase for the seed and like tackling it. Because it was not like the easiest seed, but they were able to get through incredibly well. And then the second seed, absolute dominance from them once again. Just very impressive play from them. They're absolutely making incredible, impactful statements. As Sirius now also completing their grenade jump. They are to be finishing up in just over 30 seconds. So, I mean, sub 40, Zem, I think this is the fastest time that has been benchmarked so far in these qualifier rounds in the tournament. Incredible stuff.
I guess there is no time when there's beer on the line to wait or idle. Both of our runners now in just fast few cutscenes. We have a 38-41 on Liftoff side as Sirius is now getting up here and doing the last bit of Naru walking. Happy mouse movements 3908 GG.
Yeah, GG, well played for sure. I mean, very jet seed. Like, let's be completely honest. Definitely a little bit weird logic wise, right? Stomp being in spider sack area, which was gated by grenade. But then the moment that you get stomp, you get double jump. That gets you bash, and with bash grenade, that puts in boulder escape into logic. That gets us charge jump. So just very fast, very early left side in logic. Really, really intense stuff. Like these seeds can be very, very scary to race because, especially for TwiceTheBaguette, they didn't know what that progression was to get charge, jump, and dash. They only knew that they had it, right? That they had those skills. So just all the meanwhile during that seed, they focused on pushing for the objective, right? Pushing for relics, pushing for map exploration, especially the left side of the map. And so once again, the first team that gets access that goes to the left side of the map ends up winning the seed. And so we've seen this in every single race where this was a deciding factor. So just very, very cool that TwiceTheBaguette was on top of their routing and on top of their execution for this one.
Yeah, I really like that one in particular, Muffin, because as you said, there was like a very high chance we're not getting the double jump, and as we later know,
Yeah.
double jump stomp even progression
Yeah.
into the rest of our power skills. There was a good chance it was dash instead, and imagine if this wasn't double jump stomp but dash stomp. It would have been such a different tale of speed instead with stomp cancels or like
Right.
C dash bash is suddenly being accessible. But it was a gamble there, and what isn't a gamble is pushing objectives. That has a very, very clear kind of time cost there going forward. On the top right, Lusther getting trolled by a level up explosion, killing the Baneling he was about to dash. Bit unlucky there, but hey, there's another one. So now continuing his Haru, gets another water rain shard there. Um, but yeah, as I was saying, love to see it, love to see it very cleanly played, and with that, we do have a win here.
Yeah, I mean, just impressive stuff like through and through from Team Twice the Beer, as well as Twice the Baguette. We did see some really incredible stuff so far. So it's awesome that we get to see these players continue on as they progress through the season. Lusther going for murder is going to check the validation pickup. I don't remember what this was, but they were also able to track down that water vein shard that we saw from our other team a little bit earlier. But again, ability cell for their troubles, they're absolutely going to keep that. I like this play because that just like gives you easier access to potential sense later on if you do need it. But then also, as we saw from the seed, like health cells for one of the teammates was like pretty gated, right? There was only one teammate per team that ended up tracking down a bunch of health. So GreeZ only being on 5 HP is really spooky without ultra defense, especially going through these late game areas.
Yeah, I love, however, how you can kind of split that up, Muffin, right? If one person picks
Yeah.
up more health, well, send that people to do the sense checks and have the other person push towards blue tree. So can just be so interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Really cool stuff, for sure. But that being said, we do have our winners here. Bizarre Adventurers, also known as today, Twice the Beer. GG's, my friends. Really impressive stuff.
Hello. Thank you.
So I guess first question for both of you. I mean, really Jet Seed, like absolutely clearly Jet. Once again, just front loaded with power skills as well as like grenade for blue breakage. Of course, you found climb and sorrow later on for grenade jumps, which was nice. Uh, in this seed, you found the power skills out of logic, where you just sort of thinking about, oh no, where's dash or where's like double jump as you were going towards like the left side of the map, or were you just focused on like finishing out the objective and tracking down the left side relics?
For a while, we tried to think about logic. For example, that's why when we got to Swamp, I checked a pickup that I normally wouldn't check just because it was accessible with wall jump. But after a while, I think we just gave up and we were like, this is our life now. We're going to try to stop and to try and make sense of it. Let's just work with what we've got. We can look at the spoiler later.
There's also something where the most powerful skills to find would have indeed been dash or climb for speed purposes. And climb didn't seem particularly likely to find because we already had wall jump. So it's not that likely to be forced progression. And dash didn't seem particularly likely to find because I believe there was a high experience value behind the crushers in Blackroot Burrows.
Yeah, it was like about like 150. Yeah, just
153, I think. Yeah, there was high XP there.
So
Yeah.
it just seemed like, sure, we could track down progression, but most likely we're not actually going to want it. Probably we want the thing after the progression.
right. Yeah, interesting stuff. I mean, like in each of these seeds, right, that are just incredibly jet. We've just seen so much interesting routing decisions. Like here, we saw Twice the Baguette end up like digging a lot more thoroughly on the right side of the map, so they did find in logic progression. For you folks, it was like pushing the left side out of logic. Was that like once again like that sort of objective mindset of like, hey, all we need are the relics in order to finish out the seed, or were you just saying, I don't know, maybe we'll come back to look for progression later just in case it's important, but we're just finding so many relics, so we want to split up as much as possible as like doubles routing does.
It's definitely a lot to do with that progression, or rather objective mindset that you're mentioning. Eventually you have to go to the left side for the relic, so you may as well do it now, because then you are progressing towards the ultimate goal and you might find something along the way.
Yeah, basically. We did return to Grotto later when we had basically exhausted all the regions where they could have that we had access to with relics. So we definitely kept it in mind, like that we had skipped, for example, Death Gauntlet, Lower Swamp Entry on our first pass through Grotto. But if you can hunt relics, then as Sirius said, you might as well go for them and find stuff along the way.
Totally. Yeah, I like that reasoning especially. That's like definitely my mindset as well. Is like, yeah, if it's just stomp is like somewhere on the right side of the map, right? And like the left side teleporters are buried, as we saw, right? Valley TP was on the left side of the map, right? Then like may as well just like take bash left side, especially because like right side checks only go so deep. So the more thorough you are with those like one-offs, you could just be spending elsewhere because the relics were just so jet this seed. They were in such nice locations.
Now that
Yeah.
you mentioned TwiceTheBaguette tracking down the actual progression, you of
Yep.
course have me curious. What is the actual progression?
All right, so we got some steps for you because we don't just have a double jump for you. No, that one was stomp blocked.
Oh my
So
gosh.
grenade brings in Stomp and Logic because it was the Hell Cell and Spider Sack area, and then Upper Swamp entry, the Stomp pickup before next to the map pedestal was Double Jump. Double Jump gets you bash grenade with wall interaction, gets you charge jump, and that's it. That was the entire progression.
Well,
Wasn't it?
we didn't miss much then.
No, not at all. Where's Dash? It's my next question, but yeah, Zem, I think you had a question to ask them.
Yeah, as we were talking about kind of left side and finding progression there, Sirius, what made you decide that you're the one who's gonna go get sense and go do the entirety of sorrow? Was there like the resource split between the two of you involved, or was it just you were ahead in the relic collection, or what are kind of your thoughts on splitting that kind of stuff, purple versus blue tree, between the players?
While, of course, you could always have considerations within a seed for which player would better go for sense, we have solved it in a simpler fashion, which is that I always go for sense and lifdoff generally does not. And that way we both have a lot of practice in our respective roles.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
That's
like
the way
it.
it is.
Comfort practice is pretty valuable, I would say.
Yeah, good stuff. So I guess a question to lift off, because I did actually have the opportunity to cast your previous match in round 1 for the Swiss as well. So you mentioned in the interview section of that you weren't feeling too great about your execution in that seed. So reflecting back on this one in particular, how are you feeling about your performance for this one and moving forward into the tournament?
Much better. I think I played much better, much closer to what I was capable of. There were still like a couple of mistakes. There was a second try Stomp list. There was a Death Gauntlet, which meant that I had to recollect the Grotto Relic as well. There was the Death and Spirit Caverns, but Ori is a hard game. You're never going to play a seed perfectly, and yeah, I was very happy with how the
Cool.
seed went, with how I played it. I think this was a very clean run, and I think it was also a very fast run.
Yeah, really incredible stuff. I was really impressed, especially with this one. I mean, last time I was impressed as well with like the stuff you were busting out. So that's great to hear that you're feeling even better. So just a quick update for the action. GreeZ was just working through the entirety of Misty Woods in order to track down the relic, which was once again on Gumon Seal. I think this is our 3rd seed this tournament out of the like 14 seeds that have been on Gumon Seal so far for the Relic and Misty. So just really funny stuff, just to see the consistency of like late Misty Relic placement. But then Lusther also was exploring Swamp proper. They ended up just tracking down some resources, but also found a water vein shard that was buried within Swamp Swim. So that completed the water vein for them, so they can go into Ginso if they so choose.
Yeah, and between the two of them, the Ginso relic is the only one they are still missing information on. They do know that L4 has the horror relic, and they do also know where the swamp relic is, right next to the teleporter, so it's probably just get that 3rd shard and go in now for both of them.
Yeah, also tracking down that Stomp pickup as well, Lusther, taking the information that GreeZ ended up sending their dear teammate, as GreeZ is now heading into Valley in order to be able to check some additional pickups over in this area. Lusther, meanwhile, in the top right, is going to be working to the lower Swamp entry as they go into Swamp, maybe to grab... Oh, no, they have a finished water vein. They've already been here. So it'll be interesting to see where Lusther decides to go from here.
Right, Sirius, I actually have one more question for you, just because of a bit of a personal connection there. How much did you practice those pre-charges?
I mean, the secret to pre-charges is really just you have to have wall jump. I don't find them that difficult if you have wall jump. I haven't done specific practice for pre-charges in a while. It's mostly just what comes up in seeds. And the thing with World Tour formats is because you collect so much, you have grenade jumps, stair cancels, etc. in almost a majority of the seed, it feels like. So that practice kind of comes naturally.
Yeah, just saying, love it.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Yeah, indeed. So really cool stuff. I mean, going to 2-0 in Swiss is like really impressive in general. And so we only have 4 rounds of Swiss, and then the top 4 teams are going to be moving on to a bracket stage in order to battle it out in the semifinals as well as the grand finals in order to win the entire tournament. So I guess just as a closing question to you folks, Bizarre Adventurers, how are you feeling now going 2-0 for your ability to be able to qualify for brackets? And is there sort of a team that you're trying to dodge that may also be potentially going to 2-0 for the next round?
There is no team to dodge.
Ooh.
We will beat them all.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely feeling confident. I mean, of course, anything can happen in Rando, right? But I'd rather be 2-0 up than 0-2 down, even though you can technically get into brackets with both sets of results, maybe. Yeah, I think we're in a good position, and I don't think we should be afraid of any team.
Awesome. I love to hear the confidence. Well, congratulations again. TwiceTheBeer, aka Bizarre Adventurers, are walking away with a W on this second round Swiss match. And I am very much looking forward to the next 2 matches. GG's, my friends.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, back to the action. We see TwiceTheBaguette on the right side of your screen. Lusther is now inside Ginso, going for that relic itself. And meanwhile, GreeZ in the bottom right is going to be checking some stuff in Horu. Of course, we do know where that Horu relic is. It is in L4. So if they do the door warp or go through the escape sequence, they should be able to grab that. And with Stomp, they can definitely do both methods, or either it's a little bit faster to go through and end up door warping, but GreeZ accidentally placing his save outside. Yeah, it's just force of habit to do that as a rando runner in Horu. Is going to have to just wait for that to come off cooldown, and then they are going to place a save. Because fun fact, you can't actually carry a save anywhere and then enter a doorway in Mount Horu. It just does not allow you to do that. So you have to wait for the save to come off cooldown to start a save.
Imagine if we could take a SA into the final escape. The amount of shenanigans that would be happening if we were allowed to zombie that thing. I think it's for the better that we're not allowed. Yeah, GreeZ now going for a few door warp attempts here. We're talking about it every single match, how precise that is, and guess what? The load times are different in every room, so it's not even the same kind of load timing that you get in the main room, but GreeZ now getting through, stomping the pack here. I think GreeZ actually died after touching the Horu TP, so we're going to have to see whether that's saved or whether GreeZ is gonna need to do the Horu Fields track again. In the meantime, Lusther has done Ginso, so the information is there, and GreeZ has gotten the third water vein shard here in the lower outer area of Horu, so can now go and speedrun Ginso, skipping everything until the relic.
Yeah, indeed. And so Team TwiceTheBaguette is definitely very quickly coming up to finishing out the seed. Lusther in the top right does have all the relics, so all they have to do is enter the final escape and end up going through that sequence in order to trigger those end credits, which is going to be the end time for them. Meanwhile, GreeZ entering Ginso is going to be tracking down that final relic for themselves before following suit for their teammates. So here we go, Lusther. Good luck with your attempt on the final escape.
Indeed, Bird swooping down, squeezing a bit at our poor runner, poor Ori.
Yeah,
we're in the final escape. Another health cell as we know, so 9 HP, looking like a pretty comfortable escape here. We sadly don't have too much of the speed up skills here, basically the fast skills. What we have is Splash Grenade, but for the rest of it, we do have charge jump, we do have bash and all the air retention in the world, and we have all the compatible ways to break walls too. So probably gonna see just a very practiced final escape here as Lusther is finishing the elemental route, taking a bit of a shot to the face here. Did they get clean water? They didn't, right? So, but yeah, this is gonna be a bit. Oh, gets the extra bash of underwater. 2 bashes between damage ticks here, and that will allow Lusther to get through the poison water. And with that, GG out of the escape.
GG. Sub 1 hour is definitely a commendable time. Like, we saw sub 40s from Twice the Beer, but considering how much TwiceTheBaguette was clearing extra, just a very commendable time. Very impressive stuff. We saw some really incredible stuff, especially with that final escape from Lusther. That was so cool, that double bash on the fish in the water. I thought they were going to die there, but no, Lusther with the confidence in the incredible skill is going to be finishing out. And then GreeZ with 8 out of 8 relics having been collected. They are now going to be heading to Mount Horu in order to start their attempts at the final escape. Impressive stuff from TwiceTheBaguette. Maybe taking a loss here, not necessarily what they were hoping for with that outcome for them, but that is totally okay because they are still 1-1, so they have a very good chance for potentially qualifying for brackets if they are able to pull some more wins in their upcoming next 2 matchups.
That's the nice thing about Swiss. We are going to see a lot more of either of these teams, no matter the outcome. We can still continue the baguette war later on here. And for now, GreeZ just gotta do a little bit of a backtrack here. Sadly, we did see the Baneling death earlier, deleting Horror Teleporter from his inventory. So sadly gonna need to do the Horror Field section a second time, but after that it is just one more final escape again, and then we are going to be done with this scene.
Yeah, very impressive stuff so far from both of our runners for TwiceTheBaguette. We're going to see GreeZ now come into Mount Horu itself. They already have the relic. They don't need to track that down, so they are going to be placing a save immediately. No, they are going to be going for slaughter. We definitely do not want to spare any of these lava worms as we are progressing through, but woo, have to be very careful. These shots do pack a punch, and they do harm a lot. I think it was J-Mal in the previous Rando tournament that came up with a really cool glide setup for a fast kill on the mini boss itself that I really, really like. I do actually need to practice that. But
yeah,
very nice breeze. Yeah.
That's the kind of thing you see in the race, and then you're like, yeah, I can improvise that, and then you realize, no, wait, I can't improvise that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, GreeZ is now going to be heading in the final escape, and folks, if you are enjoying the story action, we are going to be coming up with another race, which is going to be streamed here, so don't go anywhere, as we are going to be bringing you some more Ori action pretty much immediately after this race is done. They're actually like currently getting set up for it, but I will be joining on comms for that one as well. So a lot more Ori excitement that is going to be happening immediately after this race is over. Meanwhile, GreeZ in the final escape is heading through. They're going to be bashing up this lantern here. Nice, they just have to wait for a little bit. Almost getting the triple jump. That is an incredibly precise string of jumps where you can actually skip a lantern, but it's not really that much faster. And it's like just so incredibly precise, so nobody ever goes for it. With quad jump, it is a bit easier. So GreeZ just being incredibly careful here, making sure that they don't fall into the lava, because yeah, they have to do this poison swim. They don't have ultra defense. So yeah, really heads up play from GreeZ here. They are just taking an intentional death because they know they can't survive that poison swim on 3 HP.
Indeed, you can maybe show off a little bit like Lusther if you have more than 3, but no, we're not a pass, we're not gonna get 2 health drops during the poison swim, so let's not go in with 3. Sadly not, well, still not getting the triple jump here, but going for it since there's nothing to do during the lava cycle anyway. And now back into the elemental room, and this time not getting shot in the face, which means we are now down into the S-band. Time to just set up for a nice storm into very clean water. Oops, it's not clean, but we have 8 entire HP to work with here, so no problem at all. Skipping the Kuro trigger in the final room and just setting up for those final bashes. GG goodies.
GG, well played. I mean, TwiceTheBaguette walking away with a loss here, but some really impressive stuff that we saw from them all throughout the seed. I really did like how thorough they were on the right side to be able to track that in logic progression. It didn't end up being dash, which it could have been, but they still found some really nice stuff, especially with that stomp find. I mean, if the horror relic had been stomp gated, we could have seen a completely different outcome for this race overall. Because of course we did find stomp in that spider sack area, but no stomp block on the horror relic, just a nice comfy door warp in order to be able to get access to it. So taking a loss here, TwiceTheBaguette, but still walking away with a victory in my heart. And after GreeZ is finished with Escape, the two runners for TwiceTheBaguette are going to be joining us for an interview. So stay tuned for that, folks.
Yeah, and just want to reiterate on one point here, Muffin. As you always say, it is not that you should have skipped out those right side checks. You could have. There was a world where that was dash and stomp, and the horror relic was stomp lock, and the race would have looked incredibly different to how it did this time. So that's just how rando goes. You make decisions, sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, I think that's like a really critical element, especially when you're looking at trying to optimize your routing in rando, is that it is the sum of averages, right? It is, you can make so many different plays in the moment. It just sort of like deciding how and when you want to do X, Y, Z is just so incredibly complicated and not simple at all, especially when you are like racing the randomizer in a no reset session. But that being said, we are joined here on the mic with TwiceTheBaguette. GG's, my friends.
Thanks. Yo, everyone. GG for the race.
GG to you as well.
Really fascinating stuff in the seed, right? Very jet skill set. I mean, when you folks ended up finding charge, jump, and dash, were you like focused on trying to track down the actual skill progression that put those in logic? Or were you just like, we have power skills, let's go be powerful?
Don't remember, but the thing is, we almost like forgot all the tricks. Remembering location is hard, dude. Like there's one pickup that we skipped, and that we said, okay, we need to check that later. Spoiler, we didn't check that later. Then there was the grotto relics that I found and that we forgot we had. And then there's also the swamp relic that GreeZ found but forgot we had. So
yeah, we got swamp TP, so I literally like instantly TP'd to swamp and got it because we had wind restored. And then I got it, and I don't know, we were probably talking about something else, and then I picked it, and I completely forgot where I got it. So we full killed Black Reed for no reason, we full killed Swamp for no reason.
Okay. Alright.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that actually leads into my next question. Is like, did you folks have a plan for when you wanted to go to the left side of the map and like track down the Misty Relic and stuff? Or were you just like still just in randomizer mode and clearing pickups? And so I think I know the answer to that question, but go ahead.
we wanted to go left side pretty early, if I remember, but I don't remember. Oh yeah, we were searching for blue breakage.
Yeah,
to go to the left side.
In general, we like to split early because Lusther is like likes to go
sorrow.
left really early. Yeah, he likes to do sorrow with only dash.
Oh, cool.
And then we literally just ask, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, can we go left side? Okay, I'm going left side, and then there is a blue wall there. What do we do? Okay, let's just clear a little bit more. Like probably 3 times during the early game, and then yeah, we just literally forgot every pickup location approximately, except the keys. We remember where the keys were, but that's it.
Approximately.
Cool,
yeah, I was always saying to GreeZ, like, we have absolutely no regret in this seed. Like, we played horribly wrong.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't have us win. So.
Yeah. As soon as I saw the rest time chat and saw the 38, I literally never got a sub 40 in doubles rando. So yeah, even with the jet seed.
Yeah, totally. So. Oh no, I just forgot the question I was about to ask. I guess I can ask a silly question then. So, You said you had no regrets here, but I mean, TwiceTheBaguette losing to TwiceTheBeer, that must sting a little bit at the very least, right? Or are you still like absolutely adamant that TwiceTheBaguette is better than TwiceTheBeer strats?
I mean, I drink more beer than I actually eat baguettes, so I'm not that bad. There is very good beers in French in France.
I'm fine with that actually.
So, GreeZ, how does it feel to play a 1v3 here?
What?
I don't know. I just, I don't know. I'm, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
GreeZ just feels way too betrayed to be able to emotionally recuperate.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess one closing question then. I mean, we have not seen the end of TwiceTheBaguette here. Still 1-1. Winning the first round is absolutely massive. So, do you have? Are you going to do anything like switch it up practice-wise in order to try and pull out some more wins to qualify for brackets, or are you just having a lot of fun with the tournament and you're just going to go into your next match with an open mind and just focus on the rando?
I think we have a lot of fun here, and that's why we actually signed up on the tournament. We're clearly not focusing on winning it. That being said, and that's something I think that to in my opinion, we lost to the scene one, so
Yeah.
so I'm not mad. And yeah, we'll continue like playing some seed in double and
awesome.
Fun, I
Yeah,
guess.
I think at the beginning we joined the tournament because we liked play doubles in general. So it was a good opportunity to just play for a specific reason. And then I think the past few weeks we played on maybe 1 or 2 days basis. And we're probably just gonna keep doing that until at least the end of the tournament, and maybe after, I don't know.
We'll see.
Nice. Honestly, that's a lot more practice than me and Didu have been doing.
Yeah, but we're just doing one seed a day, not a bunch.
We're just actually playing the game and call it practice.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, that's it. That's exactly how it is.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Well, I look forward to seeing you compete. GG. All right, that being said, TwiceTheBeer is going to be walking away with the win with this one, going up 2-0 after their match in the second round of Twist. So GG's to Bizarre Adventurers, aka TwiceTheBeer. GG as well to TwiceTheBaguette taking a loss. So their overall score is going to be 1 win, 1 loss as they go into the next round. But that being said, we are not done with randomizer action here, folks. We have another race for you immediately after this one, which is going to be Blind Wisps versus Ocarina of Uwu. With that being said, major thanks to Infinite for restreaming. Major shoutouts as well to Sarah Baron, as well as Fupio for helping us with the stats and tracking while we were racing. And major thanks to you, Zem, for joining with me, Covert Muffin, on the comms.
I mean, anytime, I love this game, I love commentating with you, and I'm really happy that I now get to rest my voice a bit and watch another round of Ori. See you in a few minutes, folks.